You are listening to the Life Coach School podcast with Brooke Castillo, episode number 511.
Welcome to the Life Coach School podcast, where it's all about real clients, real problems, and real coaching. And now, your host, Master Coach Instructor, Brooke Castillo.
Hello, friends. I'm so excited for you to learn about some fast success today. Cayla Horey, I welcomed her to the podcast. It's kind of a funny story, the way that she ended up on the podcast. I will tell my version of it, and then we can let you introduce yourself and tell your version of it. But what happened was I was at a mastermind, and I didn't know a soul there. And I was introducing myself and talking to people. And I met this guy, and he thought I was someone's wife at the event. He didn't know that I was actually there, for myself and for my own business. And so we just kind of briefly chatted. He didn't seem very interested in talking to me. He was just kind of like, blah, blah, blah. But then the next day when I saw him, he's like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, what is happening? Why are you so excited? He's like, my sister loves you, and found out that I was here with you and said that I had to come say hi and I need to take a selfie. And, it was all excitement. And I think I sent you a text. I think he got my number. We sent a text. We kind of chatted. You were just about to sign up, I think, for coach certification. You were just about.
I was signed up.
I was already signed up.
Yeah, I was already signed up, but it was the end of March. And coach certification didn't begin until the end of April.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Already signed up, but I had not yet begun. So
That's right. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad. We just kind of exchanged a few words. And that was kind of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then I didn't hear from you until last month.
Yeah.
You sent me the most amazing text about all of your fast success. And I said, you should come on and talk about all of this on the podcast because, not everybody has fast success.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle in the beginning and it's part of the process and everything. But every once in a while, someone just comes in and kicks some ass. And I would like to celebrate you and celebrate that and hear your entire story. So that your version of the story as well?
Close. It's a little bit different. But yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. This is just super fun. Okay. So I'll get a little bit more into this, but I have been in coaching for over 20 years. I've done a lot of coaching, never for myself, not as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
In
cool.
Other companies, different industries, different settings, but I have a long history of coaching. And for at least a decade, I have talked about starting my own coaching practice. And I have talked about wanting to do this. I have 3 kiddos, and in the season of my kids are all very close in age, had 3 babies in 3 years. And in that season, I have one with special needs. I have one with some medical needs. So I had a lot going on.
Wow.
So I talked about wanting to do this for a long time, but the timing wasn't right for our family. And so it was about almost 2 years ago that I finally decided now is the time. I want to do this. I had all this history with coaching, but I had followed the Life Coach School for years, had followed your podcast, had looked at the coach certification program, knew I wanted to do it, but it just took time until it was right for my family for me to jump in.
Yeah, right.
So I hung out with my brother and sister-in-law, and I had just signed up for certification. And I told them, I said, talked about this for years. I'm going for it, starting my certification next month. And I'm going to start my own practice. And they were super supportive. They've known I've wanted to do this forever, but I didn't give them any details. I didn't tell them who or with who.
Yeah, right.
It wouldn't have meant anything to them anyway, right?
Right.
So it was about a week later that my brother went to the mastermind and he texted me. And the only thing he sent me was a link to the Life Coach School website. And I looked back and I said, yes. And he said, we got to check this out. He said, I'm at Mastermind right now in Florida. I think it was Florida. I think yours was Florida. He said, I'm at Mastermind right now. And I just met this woman and this is her business. You should check it out.
Because I didn't hear that part. That's actually really cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So because it was within the week that I had told him I was going to pursue this.
Wow.
And
okay.
So
cool.
He sends me a link to the website and tells me I should check it out because he just met you and he told me she's amazing. She's really successful.
I love it.
And I said, you're right. That is the school that I'm already registered to go through.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So he didn't know that. So initially he told me, he sent me your cell number and he said, this is her. Here's her number. She says to call her, which I'm sure at that point, you didn't know yet that I was already signed up. So I'm sure at that point you were thinking, oh, I'll help her out. I'll my program, but I was already signed up. So
that's so cool.
I did not call you. And then he connected us with that 3-way text. And I remember him saying in that 3-way text, he said, when he did a little intro, he said, my sister is about to kill it in the coaching space or whatever he said. And great brother, love him dearly. And so all of this to say, I knew from the very beginning that I was doing this to change my family's future. And I wanted to do it forever. And I have all this coaching history, but I just knew I needed time to get to the point to be able to start my own practice. So when I started my own practice, I was like, let's effing go, right? Like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this big and we're going to do this fast. And so I started building my practice, and it was totally my goal in my first year of business to hit 6 figures and to be able to walk across the stage and get to Mastermind and all of that. And then in Mastermind in the fall, you announced that the future Masterminds will be virtual. There's not going to be walking across the stage anymore. And so at the time I thought, bummer, but that's okay. I was still, obviously, I'm building this for my family and for our future. And so anyway, but all of that.
Well, and now you're getting to walk across this stage right now.
Well,
there's millions of people listening.
I certainly did not expect this. So get to the end of 2023 and we were celebrating. It was my birthday weekend, my husband's birthday weekend, New Year's weekend. And so we had all these things going on and we were kind of celebrating. And I had my last transaction come through for 2023. So I had kind of my final 2023 number. And I thought, I remembered back to that initial text from before I started certification. Yeah. And I thought, oh man, it would just be fun to get to show Brooke that this is changing my life. And so I sent one text to the number I'd never used. And I said, I don't know if you remember this, but when you met my brother at Mastermind, he connected us. And I said, I just thanked you. I said, I'm so grateful for what you've provided and the belief that you hold for us. And that really allowed me to step into my own belief and step into just an opportunity to take the coaching expertise and experience that I had and turn it into a business for myself. And so I just sent you a text and I said, thank you for the belief you carry and what you've provided for so many of us. This is changing my family's life. And you wrote back and said, do you want to come on the podcast and talk about it? And I about fell out of my chair.
I was like, let's do it. Now, we're going to break down how you did this because everybody wants to know. One of the things that I get so much praise for, like you're giving me right now, is that I believe women can make lots of money. I think women can make lots of money fast. I think we can make lots of money as entrepreneurs. And I'm going to sing it till the day I die. I believe it. But also, there are a lot of people that get that belief and really struggle with being able to create the result. And so one of my main goals right now is to really understand, why does someone like you win so fast and so hard? And why does someone else maybe struggle in their first year? And people will say to me, well, $100,000 in your first year as an entrepreneur is unrealistic. And I'm like, according to whom? Right? It depends on what you believe is realistic for you. And it doesn't mean that everybody needs to do that or that you even have to do that. But you did do that. So congratulations. I want to celebrate you. And then I want all of the reasons why you think you were able to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you. My favorite word, a couple of people have asked me lately, what's your word for business right now? And I just keep saying it's fun. My favorite word right now in business is fun. It's been so fun to watch myself create this. It's been so fun to serve my clients and watch my clients change their lives. It's been so fun to be an example to myself and to my girls, to my son, to my husband of what I can create. And kind of a funny side note. So my background, the vast majority of my coaching background was in a nonprofit organization, was through a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
So my paychecks for many, 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 many years have been quite small, which I wasn't doing the work for the paycheck. I loved what I did. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Right.
I literally remember having conversations with my husband early on. We got married in our 30s. And so we got married, got pregnant within 8 weeks, had 3 babies within 3 years. We made up for some time and a lot happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And during that time, I remember thinking, if only, I wanted to be home with my kids. I have, like I said, kids with special needs and therapies. I've got a lot going on, and I actually homeschool them now. And
oh my God, come on.
No, I really wanted to be involved, really hands-on with them. That was my choice. But I also wanted to be able to make money from home. And I literally remember having conversations with my husband years ago saying, I don't have a very impressive resume. I don't have some great skill that I can use from home. Sorry, you married somebody who's just not going to be able to contribute much financially. Like, I really believe that about myself. And I only share that to say it's been incredible to step into this place where I'm holding belief for myself.
Yes.
And I'm proving to myself that I do have skills, that I can make a significant financial impact on our family. And for years, I believed that wasn't going to be the case. And I was okay with it.
Yeah.
All of those years that I was in coaching and serving, I loved what I did. I was doing leadership development, working with leaders, making an impact on the world. And impact is very important to me. So I loved it. And also, I believed that I would never contribute really financially to our home. And so it's just been such a gift to step in.
Okay, but even you think about this, you came from a nonprofit. So, I understand more easily, I think, when someone comes from an entrepreneurial background and they're just switching services, right? So they've already been online, they've already been selling something online, and now they're becoming a life coach and they're able to have really fast success like that. But that's not the case for you. And I didn't know this before talking to you. So coming from a nonprofit sector, it's like you're not being taught how to market yourself. You're not being taught how to be an entrepreneur. So for sure you believed that you could, but then how did you continue to believe that you could as you go through all the trials and tribulations of building a business? And then how did you actually do it?
Yeah. Well, I do have one caveat. So the nonprofit that I worked with, in order to be funded, which I'm still connected with them very loosely as an affiliate kind of consultant basis.
Oh, cool.
But I worked with them for many, many, many years. And when I had a paycheck with them full time, part of my responsibility being connected with them was to raise finances to cover the costs of my role, basically. Yeah. So what I found is, while I didn't have history in entrepreneurship and I hadn't already been doing this in a different way in entrepreneurship, there was some skills transfer that happened.
Sales skills, marketing skills,
Because for years, I had to go find people, share with them about the opportunity to invest in the company that I was working with, and develop that financial support team in order to be able to do my job. So I will say I did have a background in ability to skills transfer.
Okay, let me ask you this though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Is it different for you to sell for someone else or raise money for someone else versus for yourself? Did you have a challenge with that? Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I think, when you're raising for an organization, it feels less personal, I guess. The no feels less personal, I think. So it just was different. And it was such a different setting. But what I found when I got into entrepreneurship and started doing this is that, again, it's like trying to become a marathon runner when you've already been an athlete in a different way or something. Yeah. Totally new thing, but I had some muscles from what I've done previously that I was able to make that connection.
Yeah, leverage them. Yeah.
Like I know how to do that. I did it for a lot of years. And so I can take my knowledge of that and apply it here in a different way.
Love
it went different. And now I am having to, find my own leads and navigate a consult. Like it is different. It is different and push through hearing no and all of the mind stuff that comes up. And
okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. That's the juicy stuff, right? Because when you start hearing no in the beginning, right? When you're building your business and you're hearing, no, I'm not interested, or no, that doesn't work, or who do you think you are, whatever that is. It's very easy because you have your own self-doubt, right? I always picture like you're wobbly Bambi, like trying to get your legs underneath you. And it feels like someone just keeps knocking you down. How were you able to get past that?
I think determination, lack of willingness to give up. I think I have a really strong why. Motivates me and is helpful in the times that I feel the most discouraged. I also am really stubborn. And I am going to figure this out. Like another part of my story. So I certified in October of 22 and worked real hard in Q4 of 22, set myself up for what I thought was going to be a really strong start to 2023.
Okay.
The week of Christmas in 2022, I got very sick.
Oh, no.
And when I got very sick, it led to kind of this chain reaction of multiple different significant health challenges that all hit me the week of Christmas. And so between Christmas and the end of April, the first 4 months of the year, I was dealing with MRIs, ultrasounds, surgery, multiple doctor's appointments, daily injections, all kinds of crazy things that came out of nowhere that I've never experienced anything like this before. But that was my first 4 months of 2023. Wow. And it was in April of 2023 that I looked at my numbers and said, I have a long way to go to get to the goals that I set in December before I got sick. And so it almost added more motivation to figure out, okay, so I thought my year was going to start one way and it didn't. So now I get to go out and figure out how am I going to hit these goals? And I get to try new things. And it kind of motivated me to like kick the health issues in the butt that I'm going to figure this out anyway.
Okay, girl, but I am telling you, for most of us, that would have changed the goal, right? We would have been like, well, obviously I'm not going to make 6 figures my first year as a life coach when I spend the first 4 months being sick. Like that's not even, why would I ask that of myself? Right. And you had the opposite reaction, right? You're like, oh, now I got to double down. I got to work even harder because now I have, only 8 months left to be able to deliver this to myself. But I do think it's like successful people, beget success. And it's because it has not everything to do with what needs to be done and more just that you're willing to do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. And so your willingness to, I'm going to make this happen for myself, for my family, for my clients, like that's amazing. That's so great. And you have these 3 kids and you're sick and you're starting a brand new career. I mean, I think it's very inspiring for people to hear because some people are like, well, I have a kid or I got sick for a month too. And they're like, okay, but wait, Cayla did it. She has 3 kids. Like when you want to quit and you remember these stories of people that made it through, it's very inspiring. Yeah. Because it is possible. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. And homeschooling. Right. Homeschooling was in the
and don't forget homeschool, which, I did for a year, which is actually insane. But I did it for a year when I was building my company too. I think the other thing is I just never let doubt creep too far in when I was building my business. I'd love for you to speak about that. It creeps in, but I just never let it get too carried away. I'm like, yeah. And also, we're going to do this. We're going to build.
So I think part of being a coach by nature is ownership, right? It's what I'm constantly helping my clients figure out how to not be victims to their circumstances and what they can take ownership of, right? That's the work. And so I had lots of opportunities to coach myself, lots of opportunities to be my best client and to show myself what it was going to look like to not allow circumstances to be excuses, to not allow circumstances that were, valid. I mean, there was some hard stuff going on and there have been some other really big challenges that have happened this last year also. But I think just constantly pushing myself to look at what do I have control over?
Yes.
Where can I take ownership? I had a couple speaking engagements that I had lined up for during that time that I was sick that I had to cancel. Wasn't cleared to travel medically. And so again, it's like, I could have said, oh, well, I guess this is just going to be my medical year. And I guess I'm just not going to do the things I wanted to do in my business. But really, I didn't want to settle for that. And I didn't know how the year was going to turn out. But I think through the spring, the winter and the spring, and I remember having a conversation with my husband in April, and I just told him, I said, it is go time. I had surgery the first week of May, and that was kind of the wrap up of it all. And from that point, it was like, we just got to go. We got to do this. And again, just really looking at what can I take ownership of?
Yeah.
How do I take action? Oh, another thing that we haven't mentioned yet in terms of the how is I have virtually no social media presence. I didn't have an email list. I didn't have an audience. And so I also have done this year without an audience. The last time, not that I'm proud of this, but I'm just saying this just to make a point. I haven't posted on my Instagram account since June. I am not good with social media. I don't enjoy it. I forget to post on my kids' birthdays on my personal account because I'm just busy with my kids. It's just not my thing. I have tried to make it my thing. It's just not my thing. And so I also love for people to know that what I've done this year, I've done really without social media and without following, it's everything I've built this last year has been new people, new connections.
I love it. You know what I love about this is it's all brand new people. People are like, but I don't have a big social media following, or I'm not like you, Brooke. I'm like, y'all, for the amount of money that we create as a business, we have a very small social media following. We have not built our business based on that. It doesn't mean that you can't, but you don't have to, I think is your point. Yes. You do not have to have that. That doesn't have to be the way you do it. And alternatively, I think a lot of people are like, well, I post on social media every day. Why am I not making more money? Right? It requires more than that, being able to market yourself and sell the product that you have and create the value that you're creating. So I'm curious, how are you enjoying it? Because your first year, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, but I absolutely love it. I feel like this is what I was made to do.
Yay!
So I love it. It's been super fun. I love it. I love everything about it. It's been hard. There's a lot of work to do for sure, but I've just loved building and seeing what I'm capable of. I love being an entrepreneur. My brother and sister-in-law have a long history, very connected in entrepreneurship. I've watched them for years and thought I didn't have what it takes. So it's just been fun. It's been really fun to do it. It's been really fun to prove to myself that I can. I love watching my clients get results, seeing my
clients me too.
So fun. It's so fun. And
that's so great.
My history of coaching with the organization that I worked for was all in leadership development and leadership coaching. So I had all of these years of expertise of leadership coaching, leadership development. And then through my brother and sister-in-law, I was exposed to, a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners who needed what I knew.
Yeah.
And I would watch their circles, be exposed to their circles, and see these incredible visionary world changers who sucked at leadership.
Oh, gosh. Right. We struggle.
And so my great passion is that our businesses will never grow beyond our capacity to lead them.
Yes.
If we want to grow and scale our business, we have to grow and scale ourselves.
Yes.
The famous quote that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
The same thing is true with how we think, with how we lead, right? If we keep thinking the way we think, we keep leading the way we're leading, we're going to keep getting the same result in our business. Yep. If we want our business to grow, if we want to expand our impact, our influence, our income as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, we have to change the way we think, the things we do, the way we lead. And so again, I was able to carry my passion, my experience with leadership development into my passion for seeing the need, seeing so many entrepreneurs where it's like, man, if they just had access to this content, if they just had access to this way of thinking, this way of developing themselves, if they could work on these few areas, then the sky's the limit. They can get out of their own way. So many entrepreneurs, small business owners, we are the bottleneck in our business.
Oh my gosh, it's so real. That is so real. And that's why entrepreneurship is so fun for me, because it's constantly, I'm just a self-help, self-growth junkie, right? So entrepreneurship, setting big money goals, blowing my own mind just requires me to find out who I really am. And I love your story because you brought so much of your experience and so much of who you were, but also like 10 times it in developing into the person that you wanted to be. And I think that's what growth is about, right? It's not rejecting who you are. It's embracing who you are, all the qualities and the strength that you have. The other piece that I love is you're like, I just never saw myself that way, right? I just never saw myself as someone who could stay at home and take care of the kids and homeschool them and make a decent amount of money working from home to help support my family. And that's what I want people to know. And I feel like so many people don't even consider that as a possibility, right? You look at other people doing, you're like, oh, they must have some, like you look at your brother, they must have some special talent or some special thing that I don't have. But we all have it. We all have that. So what are you imagining for your future? Tell me.
Well, it's going to be a really good year.
Okay.
I have big goals, big dreams.
Yeah.
And when I think about even my goals for this year, for 2024, it's all about the value that I'm putting in the world, which that's one thing I wanted to say. I've heard you say this several times, and this has been something that's really guided me. I think has been a big piece of my success this last year is I have not approached my business from an angle of where am I going to find clients? How am I going to find my next client? Where can I find a client? I have really approached this year as where can I put value into the world?
Yes, girl. Yes.
I know entrepreneurs need this work that I do. How can I get into the rooms where entrepreneurs are, where they're already hanging out, and bring value to those rooms?
Yes.
And serve. And it's been
so smart.
Constant looking to serve, looking for opportunities to share content, to make connections, to build relationships. That's how I've built my business. And there hasn't been a frantic scarcity of where's my next client going to come from. There's really been a focus on where can I serve? How can I serve? Where can I add value? Because if I want to make 6 figures in my first year, I have to put 6 figures worth of value into the world.
Yes.
Then my focus. And so when
wait. We have to stop talking right this second and repeat that. That is the crux of everything. And I've never heard it better said than that. Say it again. If I want to make 6 figures in my business, in my first year of business or in any year of business, or my goal this year is quite a bit higher than that. If I want to make what I want to make this year, then I have to put that much value into the world. And
right?
Don't wait to get paid until you put the value in the world. Just put the value in the world and believe that it will come to you if you keep putting it in there. That is genius.
Yeah.
Those of you who aren't making the money you want to make this month, have you put that much value into the world? And the best news is if the answer is no, you know what you need to do.
Totally. So I think that's been key. And the other thing that's been really key, because I talk to people who say, well, I'm putting value in the world. I'm posting on social media 17 times a week. Yeah. But if you're talking to the same people,
right,
or the algorithms are hiding your content, that can't be the only place that you're putting your content out, that you're putting your value out, right? Now, for some people who have a big audience, who have a lot of people listening, that's a very successful way for them to build. Great, go for it. And also, what are other rooms you can get in? What are other ways that you can contribute?
Yes.
And this has really been my focus, because I haven't been using social media, is how do I bring value to the world bring value to entrepreneurs, to small business owners, bring them the knowledge that I have, the expertise that I have in leadership development. How do I do that in a way that serves, that adds value, but that constantly gets me in front of new people?
Listen, when you say that, this is so important. When you say, well, I am putting value into the world because I'm posting on social media. No, you're not the one that determines what is valuable. The person that you're providing the value to is the one that determines it. So you can't just say, well, I feel like it's value. I put it on a billboard in the middle of the desert. I'm putting value into the world. No, you're not. The value is determined by the people receiving it. So it's the same people over and over and over again, and they're not wanting to work with you. It's not valuable to them.
Yes.
Go find some people who it will be valuable to. This is genius.
So I've worked really hard on getting into new rooms.
Yes.
New relationship, building power partnerships, building know, like, and trust.
Yes.
With key connectors who've helped me get into other rooms.
Love it.
And the combination of that with my mindset of it's my job to show up and serve. It's my job to put value into the world. I think those two things are why my business grew very quickly. And I'm on target to do a lot more this year.
Let's go.
It's so fun because all of that represents leaders, right? I just had a call with a client this morning and they're sharing with me how much has shifted for them since we've been working together and how their culture of their company has shifted and how the way they think has shifted and how it's impacted their marriage. It's a married couple who runs multiple businesses together.
Wow. Yeah.
How this work has impacted their marriage, how it's impacted their relationship with their kids, how it's impacted the way they lead their employees, how it's impacted the way they make decisions. I mean, so it's
everything.
So dang fun to see these changes happen, to see these leaders who I love, entrepreneurs, small business owners, get these breakthroughs that helps them take themselves, their life, and their businesses to the next level.
Well, and this is what I'm constantly wanting to celebrate is exactly what you're saying is like, when I find someone that can help me do something that I want to do, and I pay them to be my coach, I love paying them.
Yeah.
And you, as my coach, love being paid and creating value. So it's not like, oh, they didn't want to pay me, but they had to. No, I want to pay you. It's like the best magical symbiotic experience you can have, right? Because it's like a win-win-win-win-win-win-win for everybody.
Yep.
So I love, love, love that for you. So your clients are happy to hire you. They want to keep working with you. They're benefiting so much from what you're doing. And you're creating the success in their lives with them and also in your life, in your business. This is what it's all about, Cayla. Yeah, so what if someone wants to hire you? What if someone's like, okay, now I got it. Now I got to get me some of that.
Well, you can go to my website. My website is just my name. It's Cayla with a C, CaylaHorey.com. So you can go there.
Wait, let me spell it. It's CAYLA.
Yep.
HOREY.
Yep.
.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So you can go to my website. I am on Instagram, Cayla Horey Coaching.
She just never posts there, y'all.
I don't do much there, but you can find me there and send me a DM or go through my website. I am on LinkedIn. I also don't post on LinkedIn, but I'm on LinkedIn more often than I am on Instagram. So those are kind of the places to find me and see some of the work that I'm doing. I will say, go to my social. It's not very impressive. All of it is in my website, but it hasn't needed to be.
Yes.
This is a funny story. I got a DM on LinkedIn from someone who was trying to sell me his services. And he said, hey, I looked up your website. I was really interested in the work that you do, but I looked at your website and, it's pretty outdated. And so I forget how he worded it, but he basically said, because your website's not very impressive, you kind of lost me as a client. But if you let my team come in and fancy up your website, then you'll get clients like me and others. Okay. That was his pitch.
Very clever.
I wrote him back and I said, thank you so much for your input. I totally agree, but I haven't needed anything fancier than this. And I've built a rockin' 6-figure plus business. So I haven't needed to. Thanks.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. My website, like, obviously like everything I teach is get a website, do social media, like do all the things. But what is going to help you succeed and help you succeed quickly is your mindset. And is what you had said about creating the value and making sure you're creating value, not in the wind, but to the people who value it. That's what you're saying, getting yourself into the rooms with the people who value what you have to offer them. It is such an important message. Also, the message of the example that you're setting is amazing. Not everyone is going to make six figures in their first year, but it is possible for some of you to do it. And it is possible to do it when you get sick. It's possible to do it when you have 3 kids at home, when you're homeschooling them, and when you've never been an entrepreneur before. It is possible. Please believe everybody in your own possibilities. Okay, one last thing. If you were going to give a brand new coach, just got certified, a piece of advice, what would it be?
Meet new people.
Meet new people and let them know you can help them.
And that can happen online, right? That can happen online. That can happen in person. You get to decide where you want to meet new people. But saying the same stuff over and over to the same people is not going to build your business. You have to meet new people, and that focus of where are you putting value into the world. Your job is to provide value and the clients will come. So focusing on how are you putting value into the world and how are you meeting new people, connecting in new rooms, getting in new rooms, social media or in real life to have conversations and bring that value to new groups of people. I think those are the 2 things that have most impacted the speed at which I've built my business.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show and being such an amazing example of what is possible. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. I cannot wait to see what you do next. Let me know. Next year, we'll have you back on the stage. We'll have you walking across this big stage. And maybe this is the new stage for all my 100K earners. Yeah, instead of walking on the stage, we'll just walk you on the podcast stage because these stories are so inspiring. All right, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Take good care. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you've ever wanted to work with me as your coach, now is the time to do it. You can join me in Get Coached in Scholars by going to thelifecoachschool.com/join. This is going to be the best year ever. It's your turn to change your life. Let's go.